All right, guys. So today we're going to read about the parable in the Bible called the parable of the lost sheep, right? And then we're going to talk about the importance of always turning back to God whenever you feel like you're on that lost road and you don't know who to turn to except for Him, right? So let's go ahead and read this. So it's Luke chapter 15, verses 1 through 7, right? So here's how it starts off. Now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear him. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Right? So right off the bat, right, the teachers of the law, they're already like, why is Jesus sitting with people who sin, like these imperfect human beings? Well, we're all imperfect, right? So, why does that really matter? So let's go ahead and read the rest. Then Jesus told them this parable. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Does he not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep." I tell you that in the same way there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who does not need to repent. So in this story, right, the lost sheep is us, right? Because sometimes we don't know what road we're on, even if we're on like a road that we don't know what to do, and all we have to do is turn to God. And a lot of us have been that lost sheep. And unfortunately, instead of turning to God, we've all had those times where we've either gone and done drugs, or we've gone and indulged in sexual sin, or we've gone and indulged in, drinking, just getting excessively drunk. You know what I mean? That ain't the way to go. And I'm not judging anyone who's going through that or who has been through that, because that stuff is really hard to get away from. I know how difficult that is, because I've been a slave to 2 out of those 3 that I've just mentioned. And here's the thing, man, like Jesus, God is He'll really go out of His way to try and save us from that lost road, from being that lost sheep, because He really wants a relationship with us. He really wants us to truly repent and turn back to Him and be like, hey, what I'm doing is not working. I need to do something else. I need to find a different solution. The solution is Jesus Christ, right? Jesus died on the cross so that we can all be saved, yeah? Because He did. And just like in this text right here, it says in Luke chapter 15, verses 7, right at the end, Jesus was talking about how, it's better, in heaven they're rejoicing over one person repenting and coming back to the Lord, rather than 99 people whose egos are probably high and they feel like they're righteous and they don't need to repent. You know what I mean? That's not having humility. That's letting your ego take over you because you feel like you don't have to repent. Well, we're all sinners. And, when you're on that lost road, when you're that lost sheep, and you feel like you just feel like you're too far from God's glory and you're too far from being saved, that's not true, man. God is really, He really wants us to turn back to Him. He wants a relationship with us. He wants those things, man. He loves you. He really does. And it's really important for us to really, lift up one another and really encourage one another. You know what I mean? So whenever you see a fellow brother or a fellow sister, going through that life of sin and really indulging in those just hardcore things that they shouldn't be indulging in, it's like, instead of us, just down talking them, saying they don't have a chance to be close with God, like that's not where that comes in, man. We really need to lift each other up. You know what I mean? So it's good for that. You don't have to be stuck on the lost road. You can come to God at any point you want. You can come to Him. You should probably come to Him as soon as you can, because after you die, that's it. But in order to get off of that lost road, it does start with the people who you're around. If you're around people who are also on that lost road, well, you know what I mean? Like, how you going to get off that lost road if you're hanging around people who are also on the lost road? You know what I mean? They're going out, they're just doing the same things you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, something's got to change. You know what I mean? We got to turn back to God at some point. You know what I mean? He's waiting. He's waiting right there, just like the lost sheep. He's waiting for the lost sheep. So, yeah. I love y'all. Stay motivated.